This is the 2024 Cadillac XT4, and it's Cadillac's most affordable offering. Good news is it's had a minor refresh on the outside and a major tech refresh inside. So today I'm going to test it and find out if those changes have worked. So Cadillac's XT4 is in its 6th year, and it definitely is or was overdue for a refresh, which it's had, but not in every aspect, which is kind of a shame, but we'll go into that in a second. It is a subcompact luxury SUV, but it's bigger than those dimensions, and it's also smaller than a compact, so Cadillac has kind of a tweener here. Up front there's a slightly redesigned fascia here, and they've made this motif more horizontal. Each side you get these nice sort of narrow slit type LED headlights extending vertically down the side of each one. I think it looks pretty cool. So the back has been slightly refreshed as well. You get these L-shaped sort of rear lights here, all-wheel drive. This is an all-wheel drive version. You get front or all-wheel drive in this car. 350T, that's Cadillac's metric version of torque numbers. And then what I really like is underneath this rear spoiler, you get the rear wiper. So instead of it being placed here and looking slightly awkward, it's right under here. Now the downside of that is when you look through the rear view mirror, there's a section right here where the motor is, where you can't really see. But you can solve that problem because it has a rear view camera mirror as well, standard on this particular car. Another good thing, it has these cutouts for the exhaust, and they're real. The exhaust is right there behind it on both sides. So because this is the top of the range sport version, it gets these 20-inch rims as standard, wearing these 245/45 Continental Sport contact tires. These are pretty good tires, as you will see in the video, both on-road and off-road, because of course it has all-wheel drive. It also has adaptive dampers. That's a $700 option, which has been checked on this particular vehicle. So as standard on this model is a powered tailgate, which reveals 22 cubic feet of space with the rear seats up, and then a little bit more space under here because there is no spare wheel. And then if you put the rear seats down, you get around 49 cubic feet in total. It's a pretty flat load floor as well. So sadly there are no changes under the hood, so it makes do with the old engine, which is a 2.0 four-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's got 235 horsepower, 258 foot-pounds of torque, driven through a very smooth 9-speed automatic transmission. That's good for 0 to 60 in about 7 seconds. The last car we tested was around 6.9, but pretty much 7 seconds to 60. And if you tread lightly, get around 28 miles to the gallon. Now this sport model has a twin scroll turbo, which effectively reduces any turbo lag that there might be. And I'll definitely tell you, it works. So how much would you expect to pay for this subcompact luxury SUV? Well, this is the sport model, as I mentioned earlier, so it does sit at the top of the range of the XT4s. Prices start around $44,495, but you can go nuts checking the options on this car. This one has about $11,250 worth of options checked on it, one of which includes the comfort and convenience package, which gives you massaging seats for both driver and passenger. And you also get adaptive cruise control, side bicyclist alert, rear pedestrian alert, an HD surround camera system, a head-up display, and a 14-speaker stereo system. That, added together with destination, gives you an out-the-door price of over $57,000. All right, so here we are in the back. Seats are leather in this model and a decent amount of legroom. This seat's actually quite far back, and overall quality is pretty decent. You do get your own vents, you get heated seats in the back, a couple of USBs, and then here you get a nice little cup holder. Downside is you're a little upright sitting in this car, and there's no possibility to move the seats back and forth, but it works. So in the front, the luxury theme continues. It's quite luxurious in here, and of course front and center is this huge curved 33-inch OLED screen that's been taken directly from the Cadillac Lyriq, and it is amazing. We'll get into that in a bit more detail. Nice steering wheel, physical buttons here, a nice little armrest here. Generally super comfortable seats. Now these have that massage feature and also fully powered for both sides. So definitely a nice place to be. So here on the dash you get this sort of white and blue stitching. It's a trend that follows along all the way through the dash. It's also on the doors, and you also get it on the seats as well. So the new screen is somewhat dark, but it has some really cool features. Now, Cadillac, GM in general, are keeping for now Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but I believe they're moving away from it and using Google Assistant, which is pretty good. Click on that. Where is the nearest Starbucks? And then it gives you, 19 minutes away. Go back home, you've got vehicle status. You can take a look and see what's going on. Shows you a brief Cadillac sign. You've got tires, fluids, engine and battery, what your oil life is, what your fuel economy is. Been basically doing okay. Been hammering this car pretty hard. Best 31.9, average 19.3. Really good, super high def. I really like this. Super easy to pair your music as well. Really nice looking maps. Check the charge on your battery, on your phone, your recent contacts, etc. And then that's your park assist as well, which I don't really need. It's kind of a small car. So ahead of the driver, you've got 3 choices. Okay, I'm in the gauge choice, but over on the left-hand side, you can go to map, and it shows you the map. You can also go clean, and that gives you a very minimalistic display. It shows you what mode you're in. I'm in 2-wheel drive right now, 242 miles before we need more gas. What's not good about it is down in the center console, you get this mode button, and you'll see we've gone into all-wheel drive, okay? The problem is every time you stop the car, it reverts back to 2-wheel drive. What it should do is remember what your last setting is. There are 2 more settings in here. You see the main display will change it to sport, the car's all red, and then the final one is off-road. The car's kind of tilted. We pressed this button when we went off-road, and the car did a pretty good job. So you've got Tour, Sport, and off-road. Tour obviously giving you the softest suspension setting. Despite that issue with the mode button, this screen is awesome. Back over on the left here, you've got HUD, so you can change the HUD settings. Now, if you don't want to touch the screen with your dirty fingerprints, you can just use this rotary controller, scoot back real fast, go home, move this around, get information, make a phone call, put your music on or the navigation, and then you got your physical volume button. This has been really well thought out. And more good news here. All physical buttons for the HVAC. Brilliant. Heated and cooled seats, hazard, lane departure warning, and then heated and cooled seats for the passenger side. There's your park assist right there. Up front you get a little bit of storage space. It's sort of lined. You got a 12 volt and 2 USBs. 2 cup holders. They are a little bit small, and there isn't really a proper cup holder that works without your bottle falling over in the doors. Inside the center console, you get a charger, Wi-Fi charger, a little tray if you want to put stuff on, and then a decent amount of room and a 12 volt. All right, let's go ahead and drive it and see how well it goes. So I'm going to put it into, I have it in all-wheel drive, but when I get to the end of this little off-road section, I will put it into sport mode, which firms up the suspension a little bit. Steering gets a little heavier. And we'll be on our way and see how sporty the sport version of this little Cadillac is. So let's hit the mode button, Tour, and then Sport. All right. Let's get going. passing, admittedly we are going downhill, but passing is fairly easy. And you can hear that exhaust, it's actually pretty good. They've made it sound pretty good. Now, on this somewhat pitted road, bumpy road, this thing tracks pretty well. Some little bits of uneven pavement, you've got to hang onto the wheel. It does sort of dart around a little bit, but for the most part, it feels decently sporty. All right, left-hand turn, nice grip, floor it. Go, little 2.0. Yeah, so ultimately it does lack overall power. It's probably going to be enough for someone that wants to buy this car, but I would prefer 275 and 300 foot-pounds, which would be fairly easy to do with a turbocharged car. All right, sharp right turn. Steering's pretty direct. Can't feel a whole lot of what the front tires are doing, but a little bit of body roll, but I think that adaptive suspension makes a difference. They call it adaptive sport suspension. See, that's where coming out of that bend, you need more acceleration. It just doesn't have it. But it doesn't sound like it's strained, which is the worst in any car. I'm quite liking that sound. It sounds pretty good. A couple of sharp lefts here. Nice. All right, let's slow down a little bit. Seats are remarkably comfortable, grippy, plenty of bolstering in the side, plenty of bolstering for the legs. I haven't tried the massage feature. For me, I think it's a bit of a gimmick. But you know, that's fine. More stuff to go wrong, right? A lot of electric motors involved, needing your back. But if you're on a long trip, yeah, I think that might be the case where you would definitely benefit from a quick massage from the seat. All right, let's hit it. So you'd expect a small little engine, particularly with a 9-speed transmission, to possibly hunt for the right gear, but it doesn't. They've got the transmission down. It's programmed very well. Okay, at the off-road section here, let's put it into off-road mode and see how it does. All right, definitely easier to turn the wheel. Might hear some more rattles along here, but with some recent rains, it's smoothed it out somewhat. We'll make our way over to the little hill. So far, pretty nice ride on this section. I'm not sure I have a whole lot of faith in how well it's going to go up that little incline. Now, we specifically go up there slow to see, you know, which wheels are getting the power transfer to and from. We don't want to just blast up there because A, it has a thing at the front which we could break, and we don't want to do any damage. So that's the theory. We always go up there slow, and we see how it does. If it slips and slides, and blah, then yeah, we're going to give it more power. But I'm really interested to see how this one's going to do. Well, we're going to get it dusty and dirty along here. I'm sure there'll be a few puddles along here. Oh, a little bouncy there. Sharp, super sharp left-hand turn here. little bit of mud left over from the recent rains that we had. But the suspension is doing a pretty good job, I must say. Nothing that a two-wheel drive car couldn't make it down, but still. We'll get to the spot where we'll definitely need some all-wheel drive. Huge puddle here. Whoa. And a big dip. It's all collected there. Okay, so we're going up this little hill here. It's a small hill, but it's rocky and it's a little technical. And this is not a real off-road vehicle, but let's see how it does. So we're going to go slow. See how the power gets distributed by the all-wheel drive system. So a little bit of gas. So let's put on the gas here, and usually towards the top it's slipping a little bit, but it's transferred the weight. Little bit of slip there, but it had to figure out which wheel needed the power, but impressive. So this is the little hill that normally on most cars that we take down, in fact probably every car we've ever taken down here, will teeter-totter and that left wheel will go off the ground. So I just want to make sure that, yeah, it's off the ground now. Now we have no hill descent control, but we do have a front camera, a really good one. So we're just going to slowly head down here. Popped off a rock there. Plenty of clearance on this car for this particular section, so I'm impressed by that. In fact, I'm impressed by how well this thing went up there. It's a Cadillac XT4. It's not meant for that. But impressive transfer of power and an impressive little car overall. So what do we think? Well, the little Cadillac XT4 does a pretty decent job. It was great on-road and exceeded my expectations off-road in that little incline that we did. Didn't put a foot wrong at all, so really nice driving car. The downside is no hybrid or plug-in hybrid powertrains available, and the one under here really could use more power. It's the same engine they've been using for the last 6 years or so, so that's a bit of a miss. Positives, the interior is very nice, and the new tech is outstanding. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time with another video.